is that although Portugal says you can live here tax-free with the NHR status, it doesn't mean that other countries can't tax you. Welcome to Crypto Insights, where we teach you about crypto. My name is Thomas, and I'm the host of this channel. As you can see, I have a different background, and that is because I'm on holidays in the Netherlands. So Merry Christmas to all of you, and I hope you're gonna have a happy new year too. In this video, we will look into the tax treaties between Portugal and other countries, because Portugal has the NHR status. If you don't know about this, please go to the link below this video, because there's a separate video where I explain the NHR status. But what Portugal states is you're tax-free in Portugal, but tax-free in Portugal doesn't mean that your taxes is not going to be paid somewhere else. Therefore, we always have to look into the tax treaties, and they're easy for you because they're set up exactly the same, but the local rules are a little bit different. So with all of that said, let's jump into this week's video. So in this video, I will compare the tax treaty between Portugal and the US versus the tax treaty between Portugal and the Netherlands. Also, something that I want to clear out is that although Portugal says you can live here tax-free with the NHR status, it doesn't mean that other countries can't tax you. So that's why you have this tax treaty, because some countries will say if Portugal won't tax you, we still have the right to tax you on something. And in this video, we will mostly look into Article 10, Article 11, and Article 14 capital gains. So the first articles are talking about resident. Where are you a resident? Mostly you are a resident where you spend 183 days or have the intention to spend 183 days. Because if, for example, you're moving in December, it is impossible to become a resident in that country and stay 183 days because you only have 1 month. So the intention to stay 183 days, that is the most important. This doesn't mean that it's 183 days after each other. It's just that overall, over the year, you spend 183 days, which is a little bit more than 6 months in that country. Then let's go into dividends, Article 10. So dividends, Article 10. Dividends paid by a company that is a resident of a contracting state is a resident of the other contracting state, which will be taxed in the other state. So saying that sometimes it's possible that to receive dividends from one state and to pay taxes in another state. However, such dividends may also be taxed in the contracting states of which the company paying dividend is a resident. So if you're getting dividends from the US, it's also possible to be taxed in the US. And this is mostly stating that if Portugal says we're not going to tax you, then the US still has the right to tax you 15% of your dividends. So only when Portugal decides we're not going to tax you, which is the NHR status, the US has the right to tax you 15%. It doesn't mean that they will really do it. Then I wanted to go to interest, where we will find most likely the same. So the first paragraph is explaining what is interest, and the second paragraph is actually explaining the same. So if the US, if the interests are coming from the US, Portugal decides to not tax the interest that you received, the US has the right of 10%. So they can still ask you to pay 10% of your interest. This is a bit of a gray area because who should initiate that? Should it be you contacting the US saying, hey, I'm receiving interest, you have the right to tax it 10%? Or should the US come after you and say like, hey, we noticed that Portugal, you're not paying any taxes, you have to pay 10% here. So this is a little bit a gray area, and therefore the contract states they are allowed to ask you for 10%. It doesn't mean that they are really doing it. Then I wanted to go to Article 14, which was capital gains. For the purposes of paragraph 1, immovable property situated in Portugal includes stock participations and other rights in companies. So it really is talking about the capital gains of stocks. Crypto is not mentioned in these conventions. So the crypto hasn't been discussed here. And basically what it states is that it's possible that the capital gains are taxed in the other state. So Article 14 basically states if your capital gains are in one state, they are taxed in the state that you are a resident. If the resident state is not taxing you, they can't tax you neither. But for the NHR, capital gains abroad are taxed. So only passive incomes from dividends, interest, or royalties are tax-free in Portugal. Capital gains are taxed because there is nothing in the law that states that the country of origin can still tax it. And therefore, Portugal decided that capital gains are taxed anyway. Now let's go to the Treaty of the Netherlands and Portugal, where you will see that they're built up the same. So first we go to Article 10, which is dividends. So where the US states that they are allowed to ask for 15% dividends, the Netherlands says, if you're not paying any taxes in Portugal, we can still ask 10% of the gross amount of the dividends. So that is a 5% less. You see, the article is exactly the same. So if you're having any questions regarding your country, you can just look at Article 10. And how does Article 10 describe the situation? Then we go to Article 11, which was interest. What does the Netherlands state there? So the first paragraph always explains what is it, what is interest, what do we consider interest. Then in paragraph 2, you can see that if Portugal doesn't tax you, the Netherlands still has the right of 10% to tax you. Again, doesn't mean that they will do it, but they have the right to do and request the 10%. Then we go to so here it is Article 13, not 14, so there is a small difference. And it basically states the same. So if the capital gains come from an alliation of such permanent establishment from a contracting state, so another state, alone or with the whole enterprise of such fixed base, may be taxed in the other state. So although the capital gains will come from the Netherlands, Portugal can ask for the capital gains tax on those capital gains. Again, capital gains is taxed in Portugal, also with the NHR. This is non-crypto. For crypto, it's a whole different story, because crypto is not discussed in these conventions. So if Portugal wants capital gains tax on your crypto, you have to pay. In Portugal, the main reason is if you hold your cryptos for more than a year, you're not paying any taxes. Less than a year, you have to pay taxes over it. So this is the end of the video. I hope you liked it and I hope you learned from it as well. If you have any questions regarding the convention of your country, I will also have to have a look into it, because I don't know the convention for every country and every tax treaty that Portugal has with other countries. If you have any questions regarding immigration, taxes, or any of those related topics, let me know in the comments and I might make a video about that. So still, again, a happy new year, and I hope to see you next year. Bye.